Maya thought she had it figured out. The screen read $2,041,000. It was a Tuesday in March. She refreshed the app twice just to be sure. $2,041,000, the number she had chased for 19 straight years. She screenshotted it. She didn't tell anyone. Not her husband, not her sister, nobody. She just sat in her car in the grocery store parking lot and breathed. 19 years of maxing accounts. 19 years of saying no to things. And now the finish line had a number on it and she had crossed it. 18 months later, that same app read $1,463,000. $578,000 gone. No market crash, no scam, no job loss. The index funds she owned were up 11% over that exact stretch. She didn't lose the money in a crash. She lost it in 5 decisions. Every one of them felt responsible on the day she made it. $2 million puts you in roughly the top 10% of American households. The top 10% line in 2026 runs between 1.9 and 2.5 million. Only 1.8% of households hold $2 million inside retirement accounts specifically. So this is rare air. 90% of the country never sees this screen. Here's what nobody tells you about rare air. Crossing into it changes the job. For 19 years, Maya's job was accumulation. Save more, buy more shares, ignore noise. Accumulation rewards aggression. It rewards ignoring your balance. It rewards doing almost nothing. At $2 million, the job silently flips from accumulation to defense. Nobody sends a letter. No advisor calls. The app doesn't change color. The rules change, and the only signal is a number you were already excited about. So people keep playing offense with a portfolio that now needs a goalkeeper. That's the trap. Not greed, not stupidity, just a strategy that expired quietly. Every competitor video on this topic asks the same question. Is 2 million enough? Wrong question. 2 million is plenty for most people. That was never the risk. The risk is the 18 months right after you cross, when the rules already changed. We're going to run those 18 months dollar by dollar on 2 identical portfolios. Same age, same income, same funds, $3,000 apart on day 1. $727,000 apart 18 months later. Let's keep this fair. Meet Maya, 51 years old, software operations manager, household income, $164,000. Married, 2 kids, both through college, mortgage paid off in 2022. Her net worth on March 4th, $2,041,000. Now meet Renee, also 51, also married, also 2 kids, also through college. Renee is a hospital operations director. Household income, $164,000. Identical to the dollar. That's not a coincidence. I built it that way. Renee's net worth on March 4th, $2,038,000. $3,000 apart. That's 0.1%. Statistically the same person. Both women hit 2 million in the same quarter of the same year. Both hold the same 3 index funds, same expense ratios, same allocation. 65% total U.S. stock market, 20% international, 15% bonds. Over the next 18 months, those funds return exactly the same thing for both. Because they're the same funds, markets don't check whose name is on the account. Let's keep this fair. Neither woman gets a lucky stock or an unlucky one. Neither one gets fired, neither one gets sick, neither one gets divorced. No inheritance, no lottery, no crypto, no side business that suddenly explodes. The only variable between them is the decisions each made after crossing the line. Here's Maya's 18 months, in the exact order she lived them. Month 1, she calls a financial advisor for the first time in her life. Month 2, she signs a 1% assets under management agreement, $20,000 annually. Month 3, she raises her spending, not wildly, a better car, a kitchen, travel. Month 4, she converts $61,000 to a Roth because it sounded smart. Month 9, she pays $9,400 for an irrevocable trust she doesn't need. Month 12, she notices her old employer's stock is now 31% of everything. Month 14, she sells $340,000 of it all in one December. Month 18, the app reads $1,463,000. Now here's Renee's 18 months. Same starting line, same funds, same market. Month 1, Renee writes down one number, the maximum she is allowed to withdraw. Month 2, she hires an advisor too, flat fee, $4,800 a year. Month 3, she raises her spending to exactly $78,000, not a dollar more. Month 4, she skips the Roth conversion. She checks a threshold first and stops. Month 9, she buys a $5 million umbrella policy for $480. Month 12, she starts unwinding the concentrated position over 3 years, not one December. Month 18, her app reads $2,190,000. Maya, $1,463,000. Renee, $2,190,000. The gap is $727,000 in 18 months. Same funds, same market, same salary, same starting number within $3,000. $727,000 of difference produced entirely by 5 decisions. Most people assume a gap that size requires a crash or a con. It doesn't. It requires a Tuesday, a good mood, and a strategy that expired. Here's the uncomfortable part. Maya isn't careless. Maya is the responsible one. She called an advisor, she did estate planning, she rebalanced, she converted to Roth. Every single thing she did was a thing you are told to do. That's what makes this trap different. It isn't baited with greed at all. It's baited with responsibility. Maya lost $727,000 being responsible. Renee did fewer things. Renee checked more numbers. That is the entire delta. 5 decisions: fees, withdrawals, timing, concentration, coverage, in the order they detonate. None of them look like mistakes on the day that you actually make them. That is exactly why they work. The bill arrives long after the applause does. Let's take them one at a time, starting with the smallest one of the 5. Run the numbers, all 5 of them, in the order they detonate. Decision 1. Maya never picked a withdrawal rate. That's the point. Almost nobody does. You don't wake up and choose 4%. You just start spending like it's fine. The 4% rule says $2 million supports $80,000 a year. Morningstar ran the numbers again in 2025 and came back lower. 3.9%. That's the highest safe starting rate they would stand behind. 90% odds of surviving 30 years with inflation-adjusted spending. 3.9. On $2 million, 3.9% is $78,000 a year. Not 80, 78. The $2,000 difference matters less than what came next. Maya's first year of spending after crossing came to $126,000. She didn't feel reckless. She felt like someone who had earned a slightly nicer year. The car was $31,000 more than her old one. The kitchen was $42,000. 2 trips, $18,000. Everything else was the same life she had always lived. $126,000 out of $2 million is 6.3%. 6.3% against a safe starting rate of 3.9. She was withdrawing at 62% above the ceiling, and it felt modest. That's the whole problem with percentages. Nobody experiences their life as a percentage. You experience a kitchen, you experience a car, you experience one good year. Renee experienced the same year, same impulses, same tired kitchen, same aging car. But Renee had written $78,000 on a notepad in month 1. So Renee got the kitchen, she just didn't get the kitchen and the car and the trips. She picked one. The number picked it for her, so she didn't have to. Here's what nobody tells you about a withdrawal rate. It isn't a restriction. It's a decision you make once calmly so you don't make it 40 times tired. $48,000 a year separates 6.3% from 3.9. Over 18 months, that's $72,000 of the 727. That's decision 1. It's the smallest of the 5. Remember that. Decision 2 is the one Maya couldn't see because it hadn't happened yet. 2 identical portfolios. Same average return across 30 years. One dies at year 18. That's not a typo. Same money, same average, same withdrawals. One runs out 12 years early. The only difference is when the bad years show up. That's the entire variable. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's the ugliest math in retirement. Schwab's Research Center modeled it with 2 $1 million portfolios side by side. Both withdraw $50,000 in year 1, rising 2% annually for inflation. Both earn 6% in every year except 2. Both take one 15% hit. Portfolio A takes the 15% hit in its very first 2 years. Portfolio B takes the identical 15% hit a full decade later. Portfolio A is completely depleted by year 18, $0, nothing left at all. Portfolio B lasts the entire 30 years, same hit, same size, different calendar. Why? Because when you sell shares in a down year, those shares are gone forever. They don't come back when the market does. You permanently retired them at a discount. Every dollar you withdraw during a drawdown is a dollar that never recovers. Negative returns in the first 5 years account for roughly 70% of plan failures. 70%, not fees, not fund choice, not the market's 30-year average. Vanguard's historical analysis found the exact same shape from the other direction. Retirees who started withdrawing at a major bear market onset faced 81% depletion. Those who started during a partial bear faced 50%. Same strategy, different start date. Now put Maya inside that math. She's withdrawing 6.3%. She's in the exact 5-year window that decides 70% of all outcomes. And 31% of her portfolio is sitting inside one single company's stock. Renee is withdrawing 3.9% and holds 3 years of expenses in cash. $234,000 sitting in short-term bonds, doing nothing exciting at all. That cash isn't lazy. It's a permission slip to not sell in a bad year. Most people think that cash is a drag on returns. Run the numbers again. It isn't a return decision. It's a sequence decision. Those are not the same thing. Decision 3 cost Maya $20,000 and she thanked the man who took it. Month 2, she signed a 1% assets under management agreement with Russell. 1%. Say it out loud. It sounds like a rounding error, doesn't it? 1% of $2 million is $20,000 every single year. Here's the part that should bother you. The year before, that same advice cost $10,000. At $1 million, 1% is $10,000. At $2 million, it's $20,000. Did Russell do twice the work? Did the advice double in quality overnight? No, the portfolio doubled. The fee is attached to the portfolio, not to the labor. That's the entire business model. It's not fraud, it's just not what you think. Most people believe they're paying for advice. They're paying a percentage of themselves. And the compounding math on that percentage is genuinely brutal over time. A 1% fee on $2 million earning 7% costs over $375,000. That's after 10 years. 10 years, not 30. And it keeps right on going. Over 30 years, that same 1% costs more than $566,000. That's not the fees. That's the fees plus everything they would have grown into. Every $20,000 Russell takes is $20,000 that stops compounding forever. Renee hired an advisor too. Same credentials, same planning, same annual review meeting. Flat fee, $4,800 a year, invoiced, visible, paid straight from checking. $15,200 a year of difference for the identical conversation. And Renee's fee doesn't grow when her portfolio does. That's the entire point. Here's what nobody tells you about the 1%. It's invisible entirely on purpose. It never leaves your bank account. It's deducted quarterly from a balance you never check. You don't feel $20,000 leave. You feel a number that grew slower. The fee you can see is the fee you can negotiate. That's the whole trick. Decision 4 is the one that made me want to write this entire script. In 2026, $1 extra of income can cost you $974. Not a dollar of tax, $974 triggered by a single dollar. It's called IRMAA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount on your Medicare premiums. Most people have never heard of it until the letter arrives, and then it's too late. Here's how it works. In 2026, the first threshold is $109,000. $109,000 single, $218,000 for a married couple filing jointly. Report a modified income of exactly $109,000 and you pay $202.90 monthly. Report $109,001 and you pay $284.10. That's $81.20 more every single month for 12 months. $974.40 triggered by one single dollar of income. It's not a ramp, it's a cliff. There is no partial credit for being close. And the surcharges climb from there. The full range runs to $6,936. $6,936 per person per year. Per person. A married couple in the top tier pays that twice. Nearly $14,000. Now here's the part that catches almost everyone. IRMAA uses a 2-year look back. Your 2026 premium is set entirely by your 2024 tax return. The bill arrives 2 years after the decision, when you've completely forgotten the decision. Maya converted $61,000 to a Roth in month 4. It sounded smart. Roth conversions are often smart. This one landed on top of $172,000. 172 plus 61 is $233,000 of modified income. The joint threshold is $218,000. She cleared it by $15,000. 2 years later, the surcharge showed up for both her and her husband. She never connected the letter to the conversion. Nobody does. That's the design. Renee wanted the same conversion. In month 4, she checked exactly one number first. Her modified income was $194,000. The threshold was $218,000. She converted $23,000 instead of $61,000 and stopped exactly at the line. Same strategy, same tax logic, one threshold check. That's the entire difference. Here's what nobody tells you. The cliff isn't hidden. It's published every single year. It's just published somewhere you have never once been told to look. Decision 5 is different. Maya never actually made it. It made itself. When she started, her old employer's stock was 8% of her portfolio. 8%. Reasonable. A little loyalty position from 12 years of stock grants. She never bought another share. Not one. She simply stopped selling them. By month 12, that 8% had become 31% of everything she owned. $632,000 inside one company. She never decided that. This is the quiet one. Diversification doesn't erode downward. It erodes upward. Your winners grow into a problem. That is literally what winning looks like. Most people believe concentration is something you choose. Usually it's something you allow. You don't buy your way into 31%. You succeed your way into it. And every year you do nothing, the position votes itself a bigger share. In month 14, that stock fell 44% while the index kept rising. Not a crash, not fraud. One company, one guidance cut, one entirely ordinary quarter. $278,000, gone from a position she never chose to build. Her index funds were up 11% across that exact same stretch of time. That's the tell. When your portfolio and the market disagree, you don't own the market. You own a bet wearing a market-shaped costume, and you never knew you placed it. Renee had the exact same problem. Her position had drifted to 29%. She noticed it in month 12 too. Same month, same drift, same discomfort. The difference was entirely in what she did over the next 30 days. Renee didn't sell it all. Renee didn't hold it all. Renee scheduled it. $113,000 a year for 3 years on a calendar. No conviction required, no market timing, no December, just a repeating appointment. The stock fell 44% for her too. It's the very same stock. But she'd already moved a third of it out and the rest was scheduled to follow. Same information, same instinct. One of them turned the instinct into a calendar entry. Which brings us to the December that cost Maya $81,000. Month 14, she finally acted. She sold $340,000 of the position. Good instinct, correct diagnosis. She did all of it in one calendar year. Here's the 2026 long-term capital gains structure, and it matters enormously. 0% up to $98,900 of taxable income, married filing jointly. 15% up to $613,700, 20% above that. Then there's the net investment income tax, 3.8% above $250,000. Stack them and a 15% gain actually costs 18.8%. A 20% gain actually costs 23.8%. The NIT rides along quietly. Maya's $340,000 sale was almost entirely gain, 12 years of it. Dumped into a single year, on top of her income, it landed in the top band. 23.8%, all in. Roughly $81,000 to the IRS. Here's what nobody tells you about capital gains. The rate isn't fixed, the year is. You don't get taxed on the sale, you get taxed on the sale's timing. Renee sold the same kind of position, $113,000 a year. 3 years, 3 separate tax years, 3 separate bracket calculations entirely. She never cleared the $250,000 NIT line in any of them. Same total dollars sold, same gain, roughly $34,000 of tax instead of $81,000. $47,000 of difference, purchased entirely with patience and a calendar. Run the numbers on that. It's the highest paid administrative task of her life. One December cost Maya $47,000, more than 3 Decembers would have. The market didn't do that. The tax code did, and it published the rules in advance. There's a threat at $2 million that no allocation on earth protects against. 1 in 5 affluent individuals carries no umbrella liability coverage at all. None. 0. And more than 80% of them agree their wealth makes them a target. They know. They agree. And 1 in 5 of them still has absolutely nothing. 13% of personal injury settlements and judgments now reach $1 million or more. 13%. That's not a freak event. That's better odds than most stock picks. Here's the mechanic that gets people. Your auto policy caps out at $300,000. A jury awards $1.4 million. Your insurer pays $300,000 and leaves. The remaining $1.1 million comes from you, from the portfolio. The portfolio you spent 19 years building has no legal defense of its own. Most people believe wealth is what you accumulate. Wealth is what can't be taken. And claim values rise with the perceived ability to pay. That's not paranoia, that's underwriting. The person with $2 million gets sued for more than the person with $200,000. Same accident, same fault, different number, because the number is visible. Maya had no umbrella policy. She had a trust, a Roth conversion, and an advisor. She was optimizing a portfolio that one ordinary intersection could have taken outright. Renee bought $5 million of umbrella coverage back in month 9. The cost was $480 a year, $40 a month. $40 a month against a 13% chance of $1 million judgment. That is the cheapest thing on this entire list, and it's the one people skip. Here's what nobody tells you. Boring products protect money. The exciting ones bill it. Which brings us to the $9,400 Maya spent solving a problem she didn't have. Month 9, she paid for an irrevocable trust. The pitch was estate taxes. It's a real pitch. It was a good pitch for years. It expired in 2026. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act set the federal estate exemption at $15 million. $15 million per person, $30 million for a married couple. Effective January 1st, 2026, and here's the part that matters most. The sunset was removed entirely. No cliff, no reversion to $5 million. It's permanent. Indexed to inflation every year after 2026. It goes up, not down. Maya's estate is $2 million. The exemption is $30 million for her household. Her federal estate tax liability is $0. It was $0 before the trust. It's $0 after the trust as well. The trust changed nothing except her checking account. $9,400 for a structure that solves a problem 15 times away. And here's the cruelty. She'd have been $9,400 better off doing nothing. That's rare. Usually doing nothing is the expensive choice. Not here. For years, this pitch was legitimate. The old exemption really was scheduled to have. The 2026 cliff was real. It was coming. Then it was repealed. The pitch didn't get retired. Pitches never get retired. They get re-aimed. Here's what nobody tells you about financial products. They outlive the problems they solved. Renee got the very same call. She asked one question. What's the current exemption? $15 million per person, $30 million joint. She thanked him and hung up. That question cost her 4 seconds. It saved her $9,400. She still needs estate documents, a will, a power of attorney, a healthcare directive. Those cost a fraction of a trust, and they're the ones that actually get used. Everything I just told you is about Maya losing $578,000. Now I need to tell you about the third woman, because she's the one who scares me. Priya hit $2 million the same year. She made exactly 0 mistakes. No advisor fee, no trust, no Roth error, no concentrated position, no December sale. She did everything on this entire list correctly, and I still think she lost. Priya crossed $2 million and got scared, genuinely, quietly, permanently scared. Because for 19 years, the number going up was the entire point of everything. And the only way to guarantee it keeps going up is to never touch it. So she set her withdrawal at 2.4%, $48,000 a year. Safe, unbelievably safe, roughly 40% below what her portfolio could easily support. She didn't take the trip. Her daughter got married and she didn't help with it. She didn't fix the roof. She didn't stop working when her back started going. Priya died at 87 years old with $2,400,000. More than she started with, 36 years after she first crossed the line. And this is not a rare story. This is the most common story there is. Roughly 25% of retirees with $1 million or more withdraw under 3%. Below what financial planners, the people literally paid to be cautious, call conservative. The Employee Benefit Research Institute found something worse in a recent report. 1/3 of retirees still held 100% or more of their starting assets. By their mid-80s, a full third of them never spent a net dollar of it. On $2 million, the gap between 3.9 and 5.7% is real. $78,000 a year versus $114,000, $36,000 of difference. $36,000 a year. Across 30 years, that's $1,080,000. $1,080,000 of unbought living, trips not taken, help not given. Maya lost $578,000 and it looks like a disaster. Priya gained $400,000 and it looks like an absolute triumph. I'd take Maya's 18 months over Priya's 36 years, and I'm not being cute. Maya lost money. Priya lost the thing that the money was supposed to buy. Here's the line I want you to keep, because it's the whole video in one sentence. A portfolio that outlives you didn't win. It just never got told what it was for. $2 million isn't a score. It's a budget for a life you haven't spent yet. The number was never the point. The number was always just the permission slip. So here's the whole thing, compressed, in the order it will happen to you. The moment you cross $2 million, write one number down, your maximum withdrawal. 3.9%, $78,000. Decide it once, calmly, before you're tired. Second, hold 3 years of expenses in cash, so a bad year can't force a sale. Third, make every fee visible. If you can't see it, you can't negotiate it. Fourth, check one threshold before any conversion. $218,000 joint this year. Fifth, unwind concentration on a calendar across years, not in one brave December. And buy the umbrella policy, $480. It's the cheapest line here. Then check whether the product you're being sold solves a problem you actually have. At $2 million with a $30 million exemption, most of them don't. None of this is hustle. None of this is hard. It's about 90 minutes of work. 90 minutes once, at the exact moment when nobody thinks to do any of it. Make the decision that matches your reality, not someone else's sales pitch. If this was useful, subscribe to Maya Wealth and hit the notification bell. We break down the hidden math behind the financial decisions you face every day. 2 million isn't a finish line. It's the moment the rules change and forget to tell you.